right? All right. So first things first is we size our finger just as we did for our last ring with a strip of paper. If you have yours for your last ring, you can use that strip of paper. You're going to bring that to me and you're going to make a choice. You got a choice between thickness, which is the gauge. So you can choose between 14 gauge and 12 gauge. And you can choose whatever metals you want. You can choose the same metal or a combination of two metals. You're going to need 2 pieces of wire. So if you want 2 different types of metal, choose 2 different types of metal. All right. I'm going to choose copper and brass, and I'm going to use 12 gauge. So what I do is I'm going to come over. You're going to hand me the paper. I'm going to then cut you a piece of material that's a little longer on each side. And this is the last that I'm going to need. This piece of paper, I can set that aside. I'm going to pick 12 gauge brass. You have to have the same thickness in material, and I'm going to cut this the same size. Once I have the 2-piece cut, I put those back, the wire cutters back, and I'm going to grab what are called vice grips. And then I'm going to go over to the bench vise. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the bench vise, and I only want them inside the bench vise by a little tiny bit, like that much. So I'm going to use my thumb as a guide. I'm going to push that up against there, and then I'm going to tighten this down as tight as I can on that. Once I have that tight, I'm going to then put the same amount inside the vice grip and tighten that down. You'll hear it click. At this point, I'm going to pull back. Make sure you brace yourself so you don't fall. Pull back and twist the wire at the same time. And you're going to notice that it's starting to twist together. If you pull back, you'll get a really nice twist. Now, this is personal preference. It depends on how tight you want the twist. I want mine a little tighter. I want it to look more like rope. And that's a really good example. See, if that clicks out like that, that piece flew out of there, I'm going to make sure that I grab that again, or else it will not twist properly. I pull back and I twist some more. I'm going to keep pulling, and you'll notice that the twist will get tighter. I'm going to stop right about there. Now there's a little lever right here to loosen that up. You pull that together, it'll pop open. Set those aside. Now we have our wire twisted. At this point, I'm ready to solder these 2 wires together. I'm going to get them nice and clean, and then I'm going to show you how to solder them.